Hello and welcome, my dears. Hello, good morning. I'm sitting here on my power spot, and as of today, we are delighted to bring you a highly exceptional video that holds immense significance. Today, we are about to release a bombshell revelation regarding the various individuals and groups within the German population. It's so unbelievable that you can hardly put it into words. So, y'all better get ready to be surprised by the totally new insights we were able to gain. What is the connection between the German tribes and peoples or the Nordic mythology and Assyria, the Hittites, Noah, Shem, and many others? How do they relate to each other? We are going to connect that today, and the insights we can obtain from it are truly phenomenal. At the beginning of the research, we had absolutely no idea about the extent of it. Yeah, but check it out for yourselves. Here we go. Let's take a look and see what we can find. So, as we reach the conclusion of my video, I will be sharing an excerpt from a text that was written around 6,000 years ago in order to provide historical context. Exhibit it to all of you then. And this story that I'm telling you about, the event took place during the reign of Sargon I, a pivotal period in history. He comprehended the teachings of Ishtar, a wandering and God-sent figure known as Inanna in the ancient Sumerian civilization, with a profound understanding and insight. According to his own claims, Sargon I was supposedly appointed to his position by Inanna. You will also realize that Inanna is going to arrive. Example with on board. And where precisely on board, if I may ask? On board the Ark. Writing a book, it'll be exciting. However, let's stick with Sargon I. They say he's a real character, always up to something. I had the opportunity to visit a very friendly king named King Sargon, who warmly welcomed me and made my experience truly memorable. When examining the island's description, it is evident that there is no island in Mesopotamia, as the narrator refers to it as his homeland and describes a long, arduous journey, indicating that it must be located far away from Mesopotamia, ultimately leading to the discovery of an island. The description of the island, the water, the storms, the wind, and everything that is described cannot possibly represent the Mediterranean. In the end, even when describing it, we acquire knowledge about the nation and all aspects that are linked with it, that it is nothing less than he journeyed to the beautiful island of Heligoland and had the chance to personally meet and visit King Sargon, a prominent ruler of that captivating place. Very thrilling, and upon his return, he spoke up and shared his thoughts with others, expressing what was on his mind. One Eleni, so a fortune teller, and it turns out that this island, the island belonged to her. May your ancestors, in that they will ultimately and inevitably come back once more and be reunited with you and your descendants in the future, find their way back to you. And that is the exact spot where the wind of God blows, carrying with it a sense of divine power and awe-inspiring majesty. Sargon I was one of the initial kings of Arcadia. I write or have written a great deal about that. In my book, I describe the path of truth followed by Moses. Additionally, the Akkadians also worshipped the gods of the Sumerians, who were referred to as the Anunnaki deities. It's all online and in history class. There are allegations that it was originally intended to be a Semitic culture, as claimed by some sources. We will get to that immediately. About Sargon I, let me tell you briefly. The same old story, just like it was with Moses. A discarded reed basket on a river was found and raised by someone who discovered it. It is highly probable that the story about Moses was copied from Sargon I, an ancient historical figure who predates Moses in recorded history. In my book, as I said, the new Moses book, Path of Truth, I also guarantee you that this was not the situation that occurred. And Moses is actually a son of. Ramses III was a prominent ruler in ancient Egypt. The Akkadian Empire was later in the 12th. The so-called Assyrian Empire is referred to as the century before Christ. And now we're reaching the whole thing gradually. Moving closer, as it turns out, Gregorius Barhebraeus was not his original name. he was actually named Abu Ifaraj ibn al-Ibri, which was later Germanized as Abu Faraj to suit the German language. He resided in the 13th century AD. Additionally, he was an academic at universities and held the position of a bishop, from Guba, the bishop of Aleppo, and it was in that location where he was commonly known as Gregorius. He was able to speak Greek fluently alongside his native language. The languages spoken are Turkish, Persian, and Armenian. He has been since he was 20, known as a writer from an early age, and he was regarded as the most educated, precise, and one of the highly esteemed Syrian authors of that time, the most dedicated historian of his era. Additionally, he authored more than 30 publications on astronomy, ethics, grammar, church law, mathematics, medicine, philosophy, and theology. And Abul Faraj never made any mention of Assyria using the specific term Assyria. He mentioned it as the land of Athor, an abbreviation for A and Thor, emphasizing the significance of both elements in the name of the land, the god of ancient Germanic, or rather Nordic mythology. Up north he was called Thor, down south he was called Donar. He gave the country a name. In his written account, detailing the story of an ancient deity from the Nordic region, the author provides valuable insights. That actually fits perfectly into the framework and the statements of Sargon I, which are attributed to them. The ancestral homeland was situated in close proximity to the North Sea area. But that's not all yet. Those are just 2 clues, you know. We have assembled what we have managed to put together up to this point. The 3rd clue reveals that, according to language experts, the Aramaic spoken in that particular area is remarkably similar. The Indo-European language is of utmost importance and surpasses all others in its significance and influence. Keep on moving! The term Assyria is derived from the ancient city of Assur, which is considered its original source and point of origin. Assur was the one who provided the name. Assur, on the other hand, is believed to descend now. Hold on tight, Noah has been justified, because in the Bible this city is called Asher. Please see the 1. Book of Moses, chapter 10 for further information. Ashur was the city's founder. Moreover, it was also the name of his son, emphasizing the importance of his role in the city's history and legacy. Shem, one of the 3 sons of Noah and Hekel, played a significant role in biblical history and was an ancestor of many prominent figures. That means he was Noah's grandson. Noah's grandson was the founder. The ancient city of Ashur, located in the heart of Assyria, was a significant cultural and political center in the region. The individuals residing in the vicinity of the Hittites during that time period also spoke an Indo-European language and had their origins from there. Sem, the son of Noah, played a significant role in the biblical narrative. But I also find that intriguing. The term Assyria itself is derived from the combination of As and Syria, as it consists of these 2 elements. The issue in Syria and the Ases in Syria are crucial and demand attention in the ongoing conflict in the country. Whoever reads the ancient Vedic texts, anyone who has heard about it is aware that the gender of the Asen was instrumental in establishing Hyperborea as the founders of the civilization. And some time ago, or perhaps a while back, duration of time prior to the major catastrophe that occurred and had significant impact, you had to relocate to Atlantis as a result of this catastrophic event that occurred. When you look at the map of Hyperborea by Mercator, you can see that very well. Certainly you want to doubt that. However, it will be challenging, because Gerhard Mercator was regarded as the Ptolemy of his era throughout his lifespan. He was a cosmographer, theologian, mapmaker, and he was well known. He established lofty standards as a calligrapher. Thanks to his precise maps of his era, he completely transformed the shipping industry for countless generations. He was renowned for his unparalleled precision. At this point, it is becoming increasingly challenging to question his credibility. This is solely due to the fact that a number of historians do not hold a favorable view towards this particular worldview. I will provide you with the text, Your Majesty. Sargon told his people, read it again at the end of the video. This text was written after returning from Heligoland back to his homeland and having a conversation with a fortune teller, Irene, about the appearance of the goddess Ishtar, or Inanna. That is going to be really, really exciting. Well, regarding the Assyrians, my dear, I possess a rather fascinating and captivating story that I would like to share with you. Back in the days of Troy, around 1200 BC, the city fell into Greek hands. Plato even wrote in his works that Troja was purportedly of Assyrian origin. Oh, behold, there it is, right over there. And the king of Assyria, Tartanes, even provided them with weapons and soldiers for assistance, but as we all know, it was unsuccessful. The war endured for a decade, through all the sieging. So there was this thrilling tale. Bravo, an Assyrian soldier, embarked on a journey to Europe after the war and eventually found a new home in the German city of Trier, where he settled down and started a new chapter of his life, leaving behind the memories and hardships of the battlefield. An old chronicle states that Bravo is present. He was filled with an overwhelming sense of great joy when he noticed. According to historical records, Trier, a city in Germany, was founded by the Assyrians and Prince Trebitha, establishing its rich ancient history. The story wants to tell us that Trier was only built by the Romans. We know from many cities that this is not the case. That is not accurate. The Red House remains standing at the market square in Trier to this day, as it has not been demolished or destroyed. And the local Latin script indicates that Trier had been in existence for over 1300 years before them, established by the Romans. So ante Romanum Triveris, they stood there for like 1,000 years fighting and all that, but now they're just chilling and enjoying eternal peace. Amen. So in the German language, the Triveres, also known as Trier, exist. For 1,300 years it is supposed to continue to exist and enjoy eternal peace for all of eternity. Rome was officially founded in 753 BC. Chris makes sense. With that, Trier would be a whole lot older. If correct, Trier existed prior to Rome, preceding Abraham in the earliest times. Moses, the leader who freed the Israelites in the Bible. Joe Beale authored an article regarding it. According to his book In German Lands on page 69, the following is stated. The residents of Trier claim that the city that holds the distinction of being the oldest city in all of Europe, with a rich history that spans centuries. The city of Trier was founded by Trebeta, who was the son of the famous Assyrian king Ninus. Trier has a rich history and is known for its well-preserved Roman ruins. And now it gets even more exciting. The clues are getting more and more solid. You'll see in a minute that it's really gigantic. According to the legend, it is said that after the death of King Ninus, his son Trebethar actually flew away from the wicked stepmother, defying all odds and escaping her clutches, leaving behind a legacy of bravery and resilience that would be remembered for generations to come. And with a considerable number of individuals following him closely, an Assyrian person flew to Europe and established a permanent residence there. Near the Rhine, he settled in that location. During that time period, a city called Trebetum or Treverum was constructed and established. This city, which is now known as Trier, still stands and can be visited today. You can visit the city museum at the Simeon Stift. In reality, I truly admire a captivating painting that vividly portrays the legendary figures Ninus and Trebeta. In the image, Ninus can be seen wearing a majestic crown on their head. And there is a sign in the picture that says, "The ancient city of Trier, known for its rich history, was founded by Trebeta," according to historical records. Thus, we can already attribute a significant amount of credibility to these texts. Johannes Thurmaier was the author who wrote in the year 1526. In his Bavarian chronicle, he mentions the word Twitch, or Twisto, or even Hoyt Davan. The word Twitch, also known as Twisto, or sometimes referred to as Hoyt Davan, is discussed in his work. So this individual is said to have supposedly existed and ruled from 2214 to 2038 BC, according to historical accounts. I would not be overly precise with the years at this moment in time. He is believed to have been a son of Noah, according to the accounts. Twisto's son, on the other hand, was bestowed with the name Manus by his parents. He'd be the one, according to Johannes Thurmaier. Having been the grandson of Noah, this individual is known for his significant lineage and historical importance. That's why we say the words man and human. That is what you obtain as a consequence. and he in turn had a son named Trebethar. Oh, please come on, kindly hold on for just a moment, if you don't mind. In Assyria, on the other hand, the father of Trebethar was called Ninus. So like Ninus and Manus should be identical, you know? It's crucial for them to be the same to meet the requirements, don't you think so? That would also denote that the organization known as Noahs, Ziron, Zem, and Shem are one and the same as Twisto. As it was with Twitch, they are indistinguishable from each other in every aspect and characteristic. To summarize, the German and Northern European peoples and tribes can be traced back to the descendants of Zems and Shems, indicating their ancestral connection and historical roots in these regions. Is not this statement enormous, assuming that is indeed the situation we are presently encountering? So let us quickly recapitulate until that point. Teut, Twisto, Twitch, the son of Noah, similar to Sem, all of them are part of the narrative. Also, traditions are clear. I used to be blonde and blue-eyed as well. That would be effective. Manus, the son of Tut, is Ninus in Assyria. Oh, one more thing. Noah himself. They say that Noah was born as a non-biological son, but the son of Lamech and Batanash, and that he had fair skin, blue eyes, and white hair. Just so you know, that was Noah, by the way. Trebetha would be the son of Manus, and Noah, who is referred to as Tsiuzutra in Sumerian. They are completely identical. Tot, Tut, Tiot, however, he was additionally the progenitor of the Germanic individuals. At least he had the same name, and from him are said to have emerged the three tribes of the Ingevones, the Hermiones, and the Istvaiones. I've already made my own videos about Todd. The forefather has the name Teutsch. The British changed the T to a D, so now it's called German, but originally also by many old poets it was known as German. Writers and philosophers are still spelled with a T by convention. The Germans. Perhaps some of you all might have heard of the legend of Phaethon and his father Helios, the mythical figures from ancient Greek mythology. Phaethon was driving his father's sun chariot, but he couldn't handle it, and the object encountered a crash, resulting in its inoperability. According to Greek legends, I've already made a lot of videos there. Books were written and thrown into a river mouth, where the daughters of Helios were transformed into beautiful poplars, and the tears shed over them were turned into precious amber, creating a mystical and enchanting scene. That was the occurrence of the collision of a celestial object in the vicinity of the Heligoland Bay, mouth of the Eridanus River, the Ida River in the region. And so this Greek legend unfolded. Head up north in Germany for once. And now let's take a look at some more legends from the far north that are even less well known. God Mani, Manus, is the son of Mundilfori and a brother of Sol, the god of the sun. Mani is associated with the moon, while Sol represents the sun in Norse mythology. Mani journeyed through the sky in a horse-drawn chariot, traversing the celestial realm on his epic quest. So this formidable wolf, known as Hatti, was relentlessly chasing after him, determined to catch up and make him its prey. During Ragnarok, the wolf Hatti will catch up to Mani, who is the personification of the moon, and devour him, according to the prophecy. Mani is Sol's sibling, you know. They share a close bond. To translate the sun as the moon, and in Germanic mythology the wolf is called Fenris. Is the ancient legend of Helios and Phaethon an actual historical account or just a fictional story? Even older Nordic legend? Transported to the Mediterranean as a narrative, around 1200 BC. We know Germans are in. The tribes and the Celts were victorious in conquering Greece. And now let's examine the term Hittites more closely. It is becoming thicker at this point in time. Additionally, they referred to the individuals as Hatti or Hatti. The Hittites themselves even used the name Hatti for their country. In the Norse mythos, we have Ragnarok, you know. Just read that Hatti is a wolf, according to the information I came across. The only problem with the whole story so far is that, apart from a few scattered Bible passages until the 19th century at all, lacked any knowledge about the Hittites. The remains were mistakenly believed to be Egyptian artifacts by people for centuries until the true nature was eventually discovered. However, in 1887, they discovered in an old location. Archives situated in Tel El Amarna are also highly exhilarating and captivating. Diplomatic correspondences by Amenophis III with his son Echnaton, and there was talk of the Cheta Empire, Cheta. In the year 1905, an individual named Hugo Winkler made a discovery of a royal archive in Bogaskoi containing a collection of over 10,000 tablets. These tablets provided evidence that the Cheta Empire and the Hittite Empire are in fact identical to each other, revealing an important historical connection between the two civilizations. However, it was the Czech linguist Bedřich Rosny who successfully deciphered it and unraveled its hidden meaning. The language and presented it to the international community in the year 1905. His publication, The Language of the Hittites, was proven to be accurate. Without a shadow of a doubt, it unquestionably belongs to the Indo-European word family, leaving no room for uncertainty or ambiguity whatsoever. Some linguists trace the origins of the Hittites and their language back to the 4th, way back in the day, like 1,000 years before Christ. Atkinson Gray even states back in 2013 that was a date from 6,580 BC. I would even go back even further in time if possible. But oh well. Since language was definitely brought, she is not a local resident around these parts. From where exactly did it come from? We should remember that Assyria was also referred to as Athor, another name it was known by. Hey, my dude, what's up? Languages of the Indo-European family, descended from a blue-eyed and blonde Semitic people, and so on. Blah, blah. That in reality permits for a few extremely intriguing conclusions, my beloved individuals, my dears. They have no place in history. Unable to find it at the present time as of now. Not yet. Still in the process of searching. Please take a look. We have also discovered that Hatti was recognized and referenced in the ancient Norse mythology of the Vikings. Noah, also known as Zusutra in Sumerian, was described as having white skin, white hair, and blue eyes, as they say, with which his son Sem most likely also looked similar. We assume that. And the current incarnation of Sem that we know, with such a big soul aspect, but today also has light blonde hair again, but has brown-green eyes. Noah had, as I said, 3 sons, as you all know. This is Jaham, Sem, Japheth. Japheth is linked to researchers, identified as the Greek Japathos. If that's the case, then we'd be Uranos. And Gaia would be his parents. His brothers, for example, would include Kronos, Hyperion, Thea, Thetis, and others. These are the big titans that he is related to. And his sons would have been Prometheus then, Atlas, the Sky Carrier, and so on. Nevertheless, Iapetus was also the father, or he is referred to as the Titan of the Western region by the people residing there, acknowledging his immense power and influence. By the way, it might be worth asking here whether we can even equate the Titans with the Nephilim. That possesses connections, similar to the connections of demigods. Just a brief mention regarding Echnaton and the writings pertaining to the land Cheta. Similar to Hethiter, I wrote a really long chapter about Echnaton in my book, The Jesus Brothers. Echnaton and Nefertiti were carriers of the divine spark and were commissioned by a higher authority to do so, to restore and reawaken the consciousness of Christ in Egypt, revitalizing its spiritual heritage. That well-known incident famously resulted in the tragic loss of their lives as the corrupt priests of Amun meticulously organized a treacherous conspiracy against them. The Hittites and Egyptians had a respectful relationship. It happened in 1274 BC. Crisp but a large battle, a war, a battle against each other. That was the famous Battle of Kadesh. But from that emerged a peace treaty, which is still regarded today as a symbol of absolute peace, eternal peace, and its copy. You can still appreciate it today in the United Nations building in New York. The ex-pastor, Oramses II, who was in fact a ruler, actually governed for a total of 66 years and brought about several decades of peace and tranquility to the land of Egypt. During the early 12th century, you have to say, however, the Hittites left their country and relocated to a different land. No one truly understands the reason. And no individual truly knows the exact location to which they disappeared mysteriously. I continue to read in numerous old ones. Stories like people from these regions are over. The individuals we spoke to subsequently traveled to Europe. It consistently becomes evident in these writings. The fact that they provide information about it rather than relocating to a new country is what matters the most. They came back to the place they used to call home, their old homeland, where they had once belonged. So it was not a settlement that came from the east to the west, but from westward to eastward, and then back from east to west to the old homeland. Let's think about history, for example. From my written work, Moses' Path of Truth and Enlightenment. That's a really exciting story. I have to tell it again separately. In the book, she is portrayed in great detail. I will just briefly touch upon it because she is truly phenomenal and deserves all the recognition she receives. In 585 BC, a princess from the tribe of Judah fled to her ancestors in Zaragoza, which is in Spain. The name given to her was Tamatea Tifi. Search Judah, also recognized as Sarah Judah and Perez Judah, were present during the event. The twin siblings, the two sons born to Judas, shared an unbreakable bond. They fought. Sarah Judah didn't go with Moses after the Exodus, the departure from Egypt. She traveled to Spain and established the city of Zaragoza. Following that, this Tamatea Tifi proceeded, advancing further on his journey to the next location. In Saragossa, he traveled to Ireland and was welcomed there with great honors. She had the baggage with her, Jeremiah and the renowned Stone of Scone, a famous historical artifact with great significance. The coronation stone, still known as the coronation stone in Britain, Scotland, and Ireland. In Irish, it's called Liafale and is still ritually used during the coronations of British kings. According to biblical accounts, it is believed that the patriarch Jacob rested on this stone. Unfortunately, in Ireland, it is documented that the princess, who is from the tribe of Judah, exists. Welcome to the magnificent Egyptian princess. In addition, it is worth mentioning that Tirmatefi's sister, who was an important figure, was named Scota, and she also brought this stone to Scotland. Now consider Scota, Scotland. She was the namesake of the later name Scotland, Scota, which is now known as Scotland. And she had also been a daughter of an Egyptian priest in the scriptures. Both individuals are described in that manner. And according to other legends, this stone is said to have been part of King David's throne. And this stone, on which Jacob's head rested, was also subjected to mineralogical examination to analyze its composition and properties. The outcome was that the stone block fractured, comes from the area of Pyrrhus near Scone, so not from the Middle East region, when Jacob laid his head on it. So the question that needs to be asked is, where do the people of Judah really come from, and where did Jacob, the ancestor of the Israelites, live during his lifetime? When viewing the flag of four, taking a closer look at the provinces of Ireland, it gets pretty interesting. Interesting in flag of four. In the different provinces, there is a depiction of the magnificent harp that belonged to King Solomon, who was the son of King David and renowned for his wisdom and musical talents. There was an eternal dispute about who was the firstborn when Perez Judah and Serach Judah were born. The eldest child, the firstborn, received a crimson red thread that was tied securely around his wrist as a symbol of protection and blessing. As another symbol for this tribe of Judah, they used a red hand. Both symbols can be observed on the flag of the provinces of Ireland. Random, huh? There is absolutely no chance or possibility of that happening under any circumstances whatsoever. On the right, the harbor of King Solomon above Judas's hand, below straight through the cross. The flag, which symbolizes the red Cambus in Farden, is an important emblem of significance. As you can see, factual accounts can be much more thrilling than any conspiracy theory. The true extent of historical distortions has not yet been revealed, my dears. I'm just a small piece of the puzzle too, and naturally they assert, based on official sources, that all of these writings and legends are fraudulent or fabricated. However, it is widely known which institutions we are referring to in this context. On Earth, they orchestrated the most colossal scams in the entire history of humankind. Phony relics trading operation, twisting history in their favor. had and deprived every single person from all corners of the world of their individual and distinct identity. Even in this location where I reside in South America, wherever I write these lines or wherever I go, my words will always find a way to express the depths of my soul. To produce this video, massive genocide was carried out by conquistadors and Jesuits. The people have hardly any roots left, consciously, and were forcibly converted to Christianity, even with the threat of capital punishment if deemed necessary. Now, to bring this chapter to a close the video recorded earlier today is of utmost importance. A legitimate question to ask, which may have already crossed the minds of some readers, listeners, or viewers who are among the audience. It's a question that maybe you can't ask now due to politics. Unfortunately, they are merely questions, nothing more. A question that you can hardly ask without being attacked or defamed by official sources. Nevertheless, she is significant, because now is the time for clarity, purity, and absolute truth. Clarity can be clarity again, purity and truth again, truth. Just think about it, my dear ones. The descendants of Ham, the son of Noah, was known as Hamites in historical records. The offspring of Japheth's son were commonly known as Japhethites in historical records. And at this moment, the question that follows needs to be asked without any delay. Who are the true and legitimate descendants of... What is the true meaning of the term Sem in its original language of origin? Please make your own thoughts about it. Y'all be blessed, watched over, and protected. Great job. To all of you truth-seeking individuals out there, keep up the excellent work. That's how it is. Amen.